right, so I'm truly excited about today's reveal for the Cricut mug press. I finally received mine today and I have it ready to go. So let's go ahead and open this up. Boy, this is just like opening up Christmas presents. And of course, that's one of my favorite holidays. So as you can see, this comes shipped box in box, and it probably comes from a different warehouse, which is probably why it was shipped separately. But here you have the item itself, and look at how pretty. I'm so excited to see what is inside. Just be careful when you're opening this. I like using a craft knife just because I don't want to rip any of the tabs, but that's just me. I like keeping the box. And if I ever need to put it in or store it, I have the box. So here you can see we do have the Open Me package, and these are the instructions for Cricut. And it's one of the things that I like about Cricut itself. They always put in a little package put together, especially for your instructions, and a quick get started. So this is really neat. Here you can see it tells you how to handle things. It gives you a brief overview of what's included in the machine, or what is a part of the machine, I should say, because the machine itself is complete. So let's go ahead and move on to the next item. All right, so finally, to get this out of the box, now it is wrapped in a clear plastic, and underneath it, you're gonna find the cords. Now, it does come with two separate sets of cords. You have a USB cord, and then you have the power cord. So one is actually for setting up your machine, and we'll go over that. And of course, the other one for power. Let me go ahead and move this off to the side so I can show you what the machine itself really looks like. All right, so here is the machine itself. And here on the back, you have a USB outlet, as well as where you would insert the cord. Again, this is plastic covered at this time, and we just need to make sure we open this. It does give you a little bit of information. It's got the power button at the top, some lights, and again, I'm just gonna kind of refer back to this little manual that they have. It's not much. It doesn't tell you exactly what the USB cord is for unless you're looking closely to the machine. Now, it took me a bit to kind of figure out what this USB cord is for. And if you look closely enough to the machine, you will see that there are instructions on it for setting up the machine. It's used to submit your machine to the warranty. So let's go ahead and open this up. Now I suggest using a pair of scissors instead of a knife cutter if you're not too sure about opening up the plastic. You don't want to cut into the machine itself. All right, so let's look more closely to the machine. You will see that it says to get started, activate your press at cricut.com/setup. So that's what I was saying when I said you have to look closely to the machine. It doesn't have that information in the manual itself, so you really do have to look closely. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and get everything plugged in so we can get started with the setup and turn on the device. Now I'm ready to get this set up. I'm gonna plug it into my laptop and then into my outlet. All right, time to set up our machine and design space. I'm gonna go into the home menu and then go into machine setup. So you will see new machine, and we're gonna click the heat press. Now at first I didn't understand that this was also for the mug press, but once you click on it, you'll see that you have the mug press as an option. You'll go ahead and click on it, and it tells you how to set this up. Next to a ventilated place, make sure that it's on a heat resistant surface, and you want to make sure that you plug in the power, which we already did. And then we're going to come in and plug in our USB cable, and that will go into our laptop or computer. Once we've taken these steps, we'll click next, and it'll take us into the Let's Activate Cricut Mug Press. You have to make sure that you click on the agreement, and then you're going to continue, and it will start updating. It will take the licensing for the mug that you purchased and upload it into your own profile, I guess you can say. Now this may take a couple of minutes, so just be patient with it while it's loading. Once the loading is done, that's it, you're complete. You're now ready to use your mug press. Click on the Get Started and you will see that you are redirected to another Cricut page. Now these are the mug press fundamentals and you can see an overview. You can get instructions for step-by-step. There's also a troubleshooting link that you can see here from the overview. And if you scroll further on down in the menu, you'll see that you'll see a listing of what you need, which are the mugs, the supplies, and whatnot. So this is a really nice little, I guess, tool to be able to use, especially if you're new to it. Of course, since it's brand new, this is probably the place to stay. But let's go ahead and see what else we can find. Scrolling down, you can see that there is a video for creating your first mug. This is a step-by-step tutorial. All you have to do is click play and you will go ahead and be redirected to their YouTube video. Now you can also find additional help videos for the press on the design space, as you can see here. All right, I've already watched the videos to be able to work my machine properly, and I'm ready to go. I have some infusible ink here, and this is called Sunrise, I believe. This particular infusible ink that they sold on the website is set for the size on the mug. I want to say it is about maybe 4 inches tall, or 4.5, just to be able to get a good cut. And you'll notice this comes in sheets of 2 only. It comes in a black wrapping. You want to keep your wrapping. And the reason why is as you store this, if any sun gets on it, it will diminish the color and you won't have the coloring to it. So this type of ink is very sensitive. It's kind of like gel nail polish. As you can see that they come in black nail bottles. And that is there for a reason. We don't want UV lights to hit it while it's on this paper. Otherwise, the transfer ink will disappear. Why? Because it happens to heat up, and as it heats up, it converts into a gas and then attaches itself to an item such as this ceramic mug. So let me go ahead and get cutting because I have an image that I've already prepared and I want to use. All right, so I've already made my first cut and I'm just gonna go ahead and peel back the subliminal ink as it cuts out in an image. This did do multiple passes for this outline that you see here in order to cut through the carrier sheet that the infusible ink is on. Now, one of the things you're gonna have to remember is that this is actually paper. And because of that, it does not weed like you would a typical vinyl. So this is a little bit more tricky. For this, I'm gonna use just a pair of very fine tweezers to do this because my font that I used is actually very fine. So again, you wanna make sure that you're careful with this. All right, I'm ready to go and start working my mug. I'm gonna take this off of my mat once I've finished working with my mug. The first thing that I want to do is actually clean it. So what I did is I took some Windex, just some regular plain Windex, and just wiped it off. You can use alcohol if you want, and then a lint roller, which is what the suggestion is to take off any lint or any of those fine little debris that end up kind of happening. Now, I also did this along my cut because for whatever reason, there were a lot of little itty bitty pieces of paper that kind of adhered to it or didn't come off. So that was just to kind of clean it up. You want to make sure that there's no debris on your actual wrap. So once I've peeled that off of my mat, I'm now going to take this and wrap this onto my mug. The ends are sticky, so that is the carrier that the paper is on. You want to make sure you wrap it onto the mug and that the mug is nice and flat. Make sure that the ends of the paper are equidistant from the actual handle. Now, it did take me a couple of tries to kind of get through and make this flat. So I ended up kind of adhering one portion of it or one half of it, and then just kind of making sure it's nice and flush right up against the cup. So it makes a nice tight hold. And now I just want to make sure that I come through and adhere and attach that second one. Just make sure that you have a very good distance. This is the 15-ounce mug, and because of that, it is going to have a bit of a white space at the top and at the bottom. So just make sure that with the 12-ounce mug that you are using the bottom of the mug to make sure that this wrap sits flush. All right, I'm now ready to move on to getting this mug into the machine and get my design done. All right, now I want to turn on my device to make sure that it gets nice and hot. And I forgot to remove my sticker, so I want to do that before this gets hot and it just kind of bakes itself on there. So just be careful when you're handling it. Make sure that you are not handling it when it's hot. And just make sure that that light is on. It will beep at you once it's ready to go. All right, my heat press is nice and ready. You can see that the light is green here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be careful about inserting my mug. The trick to this is to make sure that when you insert it, you do it at a slight angle. You don't wanna do it just straight in, so that way the paper does not attach itself or get caught. So just slide it down and make sure that both edges of that subliminal ink are covered by the press edges. Otherwise, it will not perform properly, or it will not, print the image directly onto your cup. Press down on the side and it's good to go. Now you see that the lights are flashing and going. Once it's ready, all lights will be lit and we're ready to take this out. All right, my light is now lit. You can see on the right side of the screen that they're blinking and it's all green. So I'm just gonna lift up that flap, and now I'm gonna be careful and grab the handle and remove my mug. Now the mug itself is very hot, so you're gonna have to have some place to place this on. I have my heat press mat. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave my mug on there until it cools. All right. My mug has now been sitting for maybe about 15 to 20 minutes so that it can cool off. You want to make sure that your mug is at a very good temperature that you can handle. You don't want to burn yourself. Make sure that it's nice and cool. Now I just want to peel off the carrier and the paper away from the mug. And if you're like me, I have nails. It's a little bit tricky, so go ahead and use tweezers if you need to. Just kind of peel that off. Now I do have to say that this actually worked very well. Look at how beautiful that color is. And now I picked Sunrise, so it is a darker peach to a lighter peach. And this is a mug that I've made for myself, as a matter of fact. But I'm considering that this might make a nice gift, especially for my crafty friends. Money can't buy happiness, but it can buy craft supplies, and that's pretty close.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Heartcraftpaper. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It's more or less a box opening, kind of testing out the Cricut mug press and seeing how that works, and just how well these actually come out. I love the mug that I made, and this is what I decided to make. Hey, money can't buy happiness, but it can buy craft supplies. And for all my crafters out there, that's pretty close. So I made my coffee mug for the morning, and I plan on making many more. It's a great way to make some gifts, especially if you're making gifts for the office. Now that we're kind of coming out of COVID and heading on back into the office, Christmas is around the corner. It's an inexpensive gift. Each coffee mug can run you maybe about $2 to $3. And if you have the subliminal ink, or if you get the infusible ink from Cricut themselves, of course, you have several options. Now these packages do come in sets of 2, and we'll kind of go over these. But you can always buy in larger bulk, or if you have a subliminal machine, you're lucky. So go ahead and craft on.
Thanks for watching Heartcraftpaper. For more videos and tutorials like these, don't forget to subscribe. Visit the website at www.heartcraftpaper.com.